everyone, and welcome to Training Tuesday. I'm Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary. Today is Tuesday, September 29th, 2020, and on Training Tuesdays, you're going to get to follow me through an actual working training session with some of my animals. The two snakes that I work with in this video are both Morelia Bredli. They were hatched on August 4th, 2018 and produced by Mark Goyer, and they have been with me since April 2019, so about a year and a half. Tonight we're going to see if Laurel will generalize the shifting behavior that she's been learning to shift onto the station. Now she's shifted out onto the scale 3 times now, and now I'm going to try to have her shift out just onto a station in general, because the more environments that she's able to generalize this behavior in, the more useful that it is. And it's also building her resiliency to change and to be able to function in various environments and various situations if she were to ever have changes in her life, like a move, an evacuation, having to go to the veterinarian, where she's going to encounter different objects and different surfaces. Now, since we've been working on the behavior with her of following the target, I'm going to continue that with this exercise. And she's doing a great job. Now I'm gonna, while Laurel's eating, see if I can get Triangula to shift out onto the scale, which she's done a couple of times.
Living and working at an animal sanctuary, you all get the pleasure of hearing lots of other animals in the background of my videos, mostly dogs and cats.
When they strike at the target, just be patient. Wait for the behavior that you want before you reinforce. But if you can see that the animal's being particularly impatient, you don't want to push too far. You want to get some decent behavior out of the activity, but maybe modify your training plan so you don't go as far as you initially intended. And then sometimes it just takes them a minute to settle. Nice, and now she's 100% on that scale. I'm going to give her the food reward, or the reinforcer, which is a food reward in this case. Nice job, Triangula. So she's noticed something next to her, which is Triangula on this other station. So I just want to reinforce Laurel staying on her own station. So I'm going to go ahead and do a second targeting session and have her just remain on this station that she's on and follow the target a little bit around this perch, facing the complete opposite direction from Triangula. and eat her second reinforcer. Part of my reason for getting the animals to voluntarily shift out is to do enclosure maintenance, and I need to clean her water and do some spot cleaning. So I'm going to push her station to the side a little bit. This is also part of building resiliency. So she understands that that can move and it's not necessarily going to stay stationary, and that it's okay if it moves. So I'm going to refill her water while she waits there, and I realize she's watching me. Because this is new for her. So I'm refilling her water. I cleaned her hide, and I'm going to put that back in. I might as well fill Triangula's water while I'm here. So what I'm going to do now is see if I can target her back into her enclosure. So I'm taking the top off. It's really nice to be able to work with her this way. So I'm going to move her station back over here towards her enclosure. And now I'm going to ask her to station back inside.
Videotaping the training sessions you do with your animals is always really beneficial. Watching this after the fact, it's really evident from Laurel's body language that there was no way she was letting go of that perch and that she didn't want to go back into her enclosure. However, in the moment, I didn't necessarily realize that right away.
She's not sure she wants to go back inside. She kind of likes this activity that she has going on out of her enclosure. But I'm just going to be patient with her, and I prompt her by some movement of the target. She's really comfortable on this station because I had her wind herself around the perch. So what I'll do is the next time she makes a significant motion towards the target, or if I change its direction and she follows it there like she did there, I'll go ahead and reinforce that. Because she clearly followed the target with her attention and she refocused on it when I moved it from high to low. She isn't wanting to come off of this station, and she's wound around it pretty good, and she probably wants some exploration time out of her enclosure. She probably isn't ready to go back in. She doesn't want to go back in. She'd rather stay out and explore. Triangula's finished. Notice her body language change as soon as she sees the target. She went from curiosity, sniffing the scale, the stand on the scale, to food mode fairly quickly when she saw the target. And I've talked about this before. And so what I want to do with her, because she's not coiled around anything, is while she's eating, I'm going to move her back into her enclosure. She's still got her food. She hasn't dropped it. I've moved her from the scale to a familiar location. And again, that's building resiliency. It's giving her some coping skills and the ability to better adapt to changing circumstances and changing environments. and not become so distressed when something's a little bit different that she doesn't eat. So she is continuing to eat in her enclosure, no problem, even though I moved her while she was eating. So, Triangula, I put her back in the enclosure. She was eating and I refilled her water and re-moistened her humid hide while she was in there eating. She's finished eating, I closed the doors. She ate both her food items, had no problem with that. And she's just learned from this that she can continue to eat her food while I'm working around her and nothing bad's gonna happen. So that was a positive learning experience for her. Laurel has shifted herself off of the temporary station, and I put her screen top back on her enclosure while she was eating and sitting on her station. Again, it's getting her used to activity around her while she's eating, just getting used to more activity around her while she's out of her enclosure, and building some resiliency in her to changes in the environment, different circumstances in the environment, etc. Her water got changed, and I probably need to moisten her humid hide while she's up here on top of her enclosure, which is where she chose to go on her own. I didn't do anything to prompt that. So I've refreshed her humid hide and she's up there on top of her enclosure. I will give her a few minutes and wait and see if she puts herself away, and then if not, I will just gently but confidently pick her up and put her in her enclosure. And I'm able to do that because she's a snake that I have worked on habituation to handling with. I don't handle her a lot, but I've handled her enough that she isn't going to freak out. She's not going to be distressed by it. I just typically allow her choice and control as far as movement, but I have other animals here. I've got to feed dogs, I've got to feed horses, and I haven't done that yet. I fed her first. So oftentimes I'll feed the other animals first, and then she's free to stay out as long as she wants when I feed her, because I have the whole rest of the night to spend watching her. That's not the case tonight. She got fed first, now I have other animals to feed, and so within 5 or 10 minutes, if she doesn't decide to go back into her enclosure, I will again just gently and confidently pick her up and put her back in her enclosure myself, because unfortunately I don't have time to let her explore tonight.
I want to emphasize that these two snakes didn't get to the point where they are relaxed and comfortable with these interactions overnight. They have been with us 1.5 years, and we have gone through a slow process of gradual desensitization to activity and interaction, and they've experienced both passive and active habituation to various circumstances and environments over the time that we've had them to get them to the point where they are comfortable and relaxed with the activities that you're seeing in this video.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that educational and that it will benefit you and your snakes. Please remember to always be kind, and until next time, love your animals.